it or not, that calls for the NFL to have some type of developmental league. There may be very few of us, but I'm not alone in the world. And I often liken the need for a developmental league the way you have it in baseball and hockey especially. But, I mean, there are lower leagues in golf. And in tennis, you can come up, it might matter, but, you're not – you get a chance to develop. The NFL doesn't offer that. And so people will tell me, well, Jay, they have a minor league. It's called college. No, it's not the same. Because for one thing, as I've always said, I can't send Anthony Richardson back to Florida.
Man, the Colts would like that.
They would, and Anthony might at this point.
Florida would. No, they'd rather have DJ Lagway.
They might. But you can't do it. When Connor Shaw was in Cleveland or Chicago, hey, I tell you what, let's send him back to South Carolina for a year.
Get a little seasoning.
Just, keep working. Right, we'll give him some things to work on. We'll see if they can integrate some of our plays into their playbook, and we'll call them back up. No, you can't do that. And not only that, but in college football, winning matters, and in the National Football League, winning matters. In minor league baseball, winning doesn't matter. The players are there to develop, and the fans are there to drink a beer and watch a couple of drunk dudes in sumo wrestling inflatable outfits run into each other and enjoy a night at the ballpark. But when you go to a college football game or an NFL football game, you are there to see your team win. When you are a player or a coach on those teams, you are there to win, period. That's not a complaint.
Mm-mm.
That's sports. But, if some kid who's 18 years old from, London, Ontario gets drafted by the Red Wings, they send him to the Oshkosh whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets called up.
Because that's like kids' clothes.
Oshkosh bagosh.
They probably don't send him to Oshkosh.
Well, I bet you Oshkosh has a team.
Probably.
But regardless, and if he doesn't win that night, it's no big deal. Hey, son, we want better puck control. I want you to learn how to skate better. I want you to learn how to not lose your teeth. Whatever it might be that the hockey team needs. Hey, pitcher in baseball, hey, don't worry about whether you hit every single player on your opening night. I just need you to get in there and learn how to spin that curveball. I need you to learn how to really locate that changeup. I need you to not tip that changeup off. That's a lot of guys do. Like, I'm just going to slow everything down. Well, the hitter's going, I guess this is going to be a changeup. And bang, 500 feet later. So, but in football, you can't do it.
To that point really quick. Remember, what was it? It was last year. Harold Perkins at LSU. Remember, Harold Perkins, his freshman year at LSU was a game wrecker. He was an edge pass rusher.
But they didn't know where to put him.
He was disruptive. But remember, they decided to change positions for him. Why? Because he was not going to be playing edge pass rusher in the NFL.
Right.
So they were going to move him around so he could better get himself ready for the NFL. And people lost their bleeping mind.
Right.
It was like, no, dude. You're not here to develop this guy for the NFL. You're here for this guy to
he's here to win for LSU. Absolutely.
To your point.
Yeah.
And I have had fun with you about this hill you die on year after year.
And I will. This is my biggest sports death hill, no doubt.
But I said to you today, though, because the more I thought about this, and if not so much the bigger picture you're bringing, let's zero it down to the conversation we're having about quarterbacks. What's the most valuable position in the NFL?
Quarterback. What hell? Remember what was the story on ESPN a couple? Remember that the most important position in sports?
Yeah, quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, Jay, what are you hoping for to get out of that quarterback?
Lots of success.
Franchise quarterback, right? If not championship quarterback.
You as much success as possible, including Lombardi trophies.
Okay, so the hit rate right now, the success rate of a first round quarterback is less than 50%.
Yeah.
So if you are drafting guys, and the first round is supposed to be a big round of success in the draft, correct?
Right.
So if your success rate on the most important position, possibly in sports, is less than half, can I ask you a question? Are you doing a really good job?
Yeah.
So maybe, just maybe.
And it's all on them, though. That's what bothers me. Mm-hmm. He's a bust. Is he?
Well, here's the thing.
Is he?
Well, let's take that deep dive for a second. Anthony Richardson right now looks like he's going to be one of the biggest busts in modern NFL history at quarterback.
Yep.
He's going to be in the top 5 or 6, most likely, if he continues down this road. Okay, so we can blame Anthony Richardson? Sure. Whatever with Anthony Richardson. He didn't do this good enough, didn't work, do that, but whatever, fine. No one's going to say he has no blame in this. But who drafted him top 10?
Colts.
Who knew he was a raw quarterback who needed a lot of work and a lot of time and patience?
Colts.
Who threw him right into the fray in the first week?
Yeah, Colts.
Who gave him not a lot of weapons to work with?
Yeah, Colts.
So this is a epic fail by an organization, not by a player. And I always think when this guy, when this kind of draft,
and yet, as I say, the player will be labeled a bust.
Sure, Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
with the Giants, another one.
And again, what's the grand irony this week? Daniel Jones is going to start for the Colts.
Taking over for Richardson.
This is what we're doing.
Right. So, and let's talk about Sam Darnold real quick, or Baker Mayfield, or Geno Smith.
Yeah. Resurgent.
How much of that is epic fails by these players or epic fails by organizations and coaches and front offices and ownerships?
It is being proven that it is more organizational than it is individual.
So, I guess circling back to this, when you and I were having this, man, it was so good today, and it's okay now. Man, we did good earlier. Circling back, I said to you, maybe not so much your grand scheme, which I get why you say your grand scheme, but maybe if the NFL at least did this, look at how much you suck at developing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because the problem with this is everything we're talking about, one thing goes against it all. That is the rookie clock starts as soon as you sign your contract. And in the NFL, because you pay so much to a quarterback, what do you want, Jay? You want that quarterback on the cheap,
that's just
correct?
it. I mean, there's a lot. I agree with you on the rookie thing, but it stems into the complete lack of patience.
Well, you can't because you want him on the rookie deal.
Yeah, I mean, you
the
need
clock
to.
is ticking.
When the owner says we're paying him how much? Why isn't he playing?
And
well, boss, he could really. No.
Hmm?
I don't want that.
Right. And
but again,
remember this: how much cap space this guy going to suck up in about 3-4 years? So you want him on the cheap. So you can't really let him sit a couple years and develop him, because now you're losing the cheap years of the rookie deal. And that way, when you have for example, Russell Wilson in Seattle, he was a third-round pick if my memory serves me, which means you were paying him, I think, $12 an hour.
right.
That way, Seattle could go out and sign all these other players to build a roster that did what?
Yeah, they won a Super Bowl.
And should have won.
Can't remember who they beat, but
yeah. Oh, I do. Denver with Peyton Manning.
No, they did not. You're lying.
So I guess my point is, trying to be patient and develop a quarterback goes against the way the NFL is built right now.
Yes.
So when you and I were doing this back and forth, why couldn't you do something like this? Go to the spring leagues. You draft a quarterback in the first round, right? And when's that draft, Jay?
The draft is in April.
What is that? What one of the seasons is that? I forget.
This is the spring. That's good.
All right, so maybe you go to one of these spring leagues and say, look, we just drafted a guy. We want to get him some playing time. We want to give him some run. We want to put him in the spring leagues. We'll take our first-round picks, our young quarterbacks who are want to develop. We'll put them in your leagues. People will actually watch your games.
More people would. Yeah, if you get some hot shot that people want to see. I agree.
Right. So that point, you're helping the spring league, and the spring league is helping you do what's that D word we're talking about?
Yeah, develop. And you could get them some better quarterback coaching. You could maybe up their overall budget for things like that. I come back around, and one of the other things we talked about on why I'm going to die on this hill is very simple. Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. Kurt Warner didn't just make it to the NFL. He didn't just have a couple of good years. Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. And the reason that he got back to the NFL in any capacity is because he was a starter in NFL Europe. And a fantastic coach named Dick Vermeil said, he's pretty good, but he didn't get him to be a starter. He's like, I want him on my ball club. He's got some things we need. Trent Green was supposed to be the guy. Trent Green gets hurt. Next man up is Kurt Warner. The rest is literal history. Literal history. Kurt Warner became one of the finest quarterbacks to ever play in the National Football League, and he's in the bleeping Hall of Fame. But it wouldn't have happened. The grand story. He was stocking shelves at a grocery store, hoping to catch on somewhere. Yeah. I was joking with Terry, and I don't mean this to be, I'm being a smartass on purpose here. Maybe he'd now be like the grocery store's manager, or maybe the regional manager. But he's in the Hall of Fame. Hey, but only because of NFL Europe, because the NFL paid to have a developmental league. Yes, they wanted to grow the product in Europe, but they were putting guys in, and he's not the only one. Jake DeLone played over there. He had a pretty good couple of years in Charlotte. He's not in the Hall of Fame, but he had a nice run up there.
I think there's something here with the whole development of quarterbacks, and I know someone's going to push back and say, "Would you put these guys in a spring league and they get hurt?"
It's football.
People hit each other.
Yeah.
And
what if I put them in game 1 of August camp and they, or August preseason, and somebody, rolls over their ankle?
Exactly.
What if they slip in the shower? I can't help that. It's a violent sport.
So the point being is, if nothing else, if not full blown, what you're talking about, farm systems that the NFL doesn't want to pay for because they don't make much money. They're only a bazillion-dollar organization. If you at least start the ball rolling by, how about looking into developing your quarterbacks in these spring leagues and paying money?
I think they could do that. I'd like to see that as some kind of start. And real quick, because I'm running out of time, I've said before, I don't want the whomever kitschy nicknames, whatever. I'm talking B teams in the current NFL cities training in the same facilities. They could play on Wednesdays. NFL Network gets content. You could develop your players, your coaches, your referees, all kinds of stuff, man. There's ways that the NFL could do this. And who cares if somebody watches or doesn't watch? Did your players, coaches, and referees get better? That's what development is all about, and that's what I'm here for. But when I hear things like Richardson, I'm like, it ain't the kid's fault. Oh, he's a bust. He got failed by a big system. That's the way I look at it. All right, lots more to do, plenty of Gamecock discussion to get to, and a pretty fun, I think, start, bench, drop on the other side. 19 minutes after 3 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back into the postgame show. I've calmed down a little bit now. And again, I'm not going to shy away from my, because the reasons I hear for not having an NFL developmental league have nothing to do with football. And that's again what bothers me the most. Nobody would watch it. It's too expensive. They have college football.
But here's my thing. That doesn't stop, to the point of what you're saying, that doesn't stop Major League Baseball from having a farm system, or the NBA from having the G League.
No. Or again, minor league hockey.
Right.
Golf. Golf has the Corn Ferry Tour.
Plus, and forget minor league hockey for a minute. The feeder system of minor league hockey is junior hockey.
Yeah.
So you've got all these systems. But again, it's one of these things like always, Jay. You know how it goes. But we've always done it this way.
Yeah.
And
how's that working out for you? I mean, it's working out fine. The NFL's going to say, our product is fantastic. We don't need anything different. We don't need anything better. But I hear them bitch and moan about lack of quarterback development. Or, again, referees. We need coaches that understand things. There's a whole – it's not just about quarterbacks. Quarterback's going to be the focus, but, you know, there's all kinds of things. Anyway, we'll move on from it. But
to me, if nothing else, for them not to take a step back and look at their lack of quarterback development in the NFL and say, how do we develop them better? Yeah. Because it goes against every other aspect.
Well, sitting on the bench or having reps with the second team on Wednesday and Thursday ain't it.
Well, how about this one? Well, we started your rookie clock. Get in the game.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson. I mean,
Tim hit us, by the way, to your point, and this was actually before the show because I can tell by the timestamp because I had tweeted something out about it earlier. He says the UFL needs to join with the NFL and allow this to happen. Yeah. If that's going to be the best alternative, because they're not going to bring back NFL Europe because ultimately they want to have the NFL in Europe. And you know, again, they're not going to start a developmental league. And like I say, I don't want them to have kitschy, you know, whatever in other cities. That is, it's an expensive sport. I'm not naive. But you could have them. They have these amazing facilities. Or just have a B team.
How about this, Jay? I mean, at the end of the day, you've already got these leagues built up in the spring, and every NFL team gets one, and you just fund it. I mean, again, the money every franchise is making is insane. So you fund these teams, pump a little money into them, so that way, you know, they can run to what you want them to run at your level.
Yeah.
And,
they could.
You know, I mean, look, Major League Baseball funds the minor leagues.
They do.
And there are a lot more teams you're funding. Think about it. Your rookie ball, A ball, a high A, double A, triple A.
Yeah.
Some teams used to even have 2 rookie leagues.
Yeah, they cut that back.
Yeah, they took out the 1. So think about you're right now you're funding 5.
So that's a lot of beer.
Man, isn't it?
But I help a few times a year. I do my part.
You know what? You try to help.
I do my part.
You know, you are a man that looks out.
I really used to do my part back in the day. You think I'm kidding?
You were a hell of an investor back in those days.
Dude, back then. I should have been. I should have been. Hey, by the way, real quick, and I know it's radio, so even if I'm on a camera right now in here, I can't show it. But if you saw my Twitter feed, I had fun with this last night. Thanks for people that just wanted to play along. I'll not bury the lead. A very good friend of mine gave me a brick from the old Booker T. Washington building on Blossom Street on campus, where the George Rogers mural was for many, many years, and when they tore that building down, they did it carefully, and they gave those bricks out. And a buddy of mine's dad, who died a few years back, had a couple of them, and he was just going through some stuff, and he's like, hey, I got 2 of these. And he brought us one. And I'm going to actually, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to call George at some point, and I want to get him to sign it. And I may and hear me out here, Terry Ford. I might, like a museum, I may loan it to our display case here. I want to make that abundantly clear publicly at 3:24 on Wednesday, August 20th, that I will loan it to the station for display. But I said some visual trivia last night on Twitter. I said, who knows where this might be from? And I said, like, Gamecock fans and longtime Columbia residents and stuff like that. And I should have included Carolina students, of which I was one. But a few of you got it right. And I got some good, like our good friend Charles Bloom said the Roundhouse before they tore the Roundhouse down. And, you know, even some like old bars and places down, you know, in the campus area. But no, the George Rogers mural was the right answer, and a few of you got it. And one guy asked what he wins, and I said that he gets a gently used station T-shirt worn by David Dare. So
there you go.
It's a hell of a prize.
That's a great prize.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll even give you the ones where the armpits are worn.
Well, I don't think he wants it. That's the only thing. I think
did you actually ask him if you wanted it?
Well, I haven't heard back yet.
He might be a huge Captain David Dare fan.
Oh, he could be a David Dare fan.
And
That doesn't mean you want a gently used David Dare.
Do you think?
Sure.
Do you think any of Dave's T-shirts are gently used?
I don't know. We'll just get him to put one on real quick.
And we'll have Dave sign it.
Yeah, that's all. That's all we need is that. But anyway, it was fun. I was like, hey, let's see what people can do. I had fun with that on Twitter last night. Did it take a while for
people to get it?
No, a few people got it right away. Our good friend Will King, our former colleague, well, not yours necessarily, but you know Will, and Will worked with us for many years. Will did get it right away.
Nice.
And he had no hints. The only hint was longtime, Columbia people, Gamecock fans, and I mean, longtime Columbia folk could have been people that went to Carolina, and maybe don't live here anymore. But that was I didn't give any Heisman clues or anything else Gamecock football related. Just but it was a nice little thing we did last night. And then I gave the answer this morning, but that was fun. All right. Before we get into some more from Coach Beamer, and again, Mike Uva will be joining us with some of his biggest storylines coming up top of the four. Today's start bench drop, and Terry doesn't know this one, so this is 2 days in a row. I read an article about some tickets and things, and it just made me think, hey, there's a good jumping off point. So today's start bench drop is stadium viewing experience.
Oh.
All right. So start bench drop these 3 stadium viewing experiences.
Go for it.
And I want it to be, this is football. All right. 50-yard line seats. And make it the good ones, 15, 20 rows up. So you're like,
you got players'
butts. So let's think of it. When I say 50-yard line, think of it, like
nice sight lines.
Yeah,
excellent sight lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass.
Oh, wow, that's good. I already know mine.
Start bench
I've
drop.
already got mine.
50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass.
I've already got mine.
Okay. Don't say it.
Good one by you. I'm not going to say it yet.
Don't say it. So we'll start bench drop.
Do you know yours already?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I'm toying because I think so.
My start was a no-brainer.
Okay. Again, don't say it yet.
I won't say it.
But I'll throw this out on Twitter here in just a second. But
that's a good one,
y'all
man.
be thinking about that again. 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass. What is your depth chart on the stadium viewing experience? We'll talk more about this on the other side, but number 2 on today's list, please, sir. And oh my God, I did not even think about that.
You ready?
Let's just play it, and then we'll try to add context.
And we'll talk about the other side.
Yeah, let's just. Yeah.
I'm well aware. There's certain things that I think need to stay in-house, and that was probably one of them. But yes.
Well, just how did that come about? And once you found out about it, where you're just like, okay, whatever helps.
Kind of whatever. I hire coaches and trust them to do their jobs and whatnot. And I wasn't really aware of it, David. I go to the quarterback meetings most days, and I was in there last week. We had a couple basketball coaches that were here visiting, and I was sitting there with them, and something came up, and Mike told Cutter to go get it. You know what? And I didn't know what was going on, and then Cutter came back carrying the piece of you know what as well, and he kind of enlightened us on the backstory going back to when he was with the New York Giants and all that as well. So whatever it takes to connect with guys and motivate them, I'm all for.
All right, we'll add you some context here. Here's Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, he has this cast of poop, and he's just you just took a dump right on my desk if I do something bad. So he just be like, if I do something bad, he just go get the dump off my desk, and he makes us put it on his desk. He's like, that's what you just did to me. So I mean, if you do something bad, that's usually what he does. And
that's offensive coordinator Mike Shula.
Yeah, Shula does that. Shane didn't know about it. There's Lenoris explaining it. So allow that to sink in.
And we'll
have more on that. And Mike spoke today. And again, start bench drop, 50-yard line, luxury suite, sideline pass. You're listening to the postgame show. Took a little time this morning because I had a lot of just stuff. It's been raining so much, windy. Had a lot of stuff around the driveway. Got out my it's not brand new anymore now, but it's relatively new. My Toro Flex Force blower, battery powered, but as powerful as most big gas powered blowers. Got the driveway looking good. Like when my wife gets back home, she's been out of town. She'll be like, "Oh wow, look how great this looks." Yeah, I did good. Check mark right there. But in all seriousness, these things are absolutely fantastic. I had an old battery-powered blower for a while, a little rechargeable thing for the patio, but it doesn't do much. And, do I need the upkeep of a gas-powered one? No. Ben and Matt at Cato's were like, you need to try this. This thing's awesome. I turned it on in the store, and then I got really scared because it was so powerful. I love it. You will too. All these great Toro products and so much more. 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, always online. CatosPowerEquipment.com. Welcome back in. Postgame show rolls on here on a Wednesday alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Mike Yuva, Gamecock Central, great friend of the program, joining us top of the four. He'll be with us for a couple of segments. Looking forward to talking with Mike. He's got his story out on Gamecock Central about some of the bigger storylines of the season. Still awaiting word. It's day 225 of the Rasul Faison watch. I hope we don't have to talk about Darren Heitner filing a lawsuit. You know, that's the way I feel about this. I hope we don't have to go that route.
Because the feeling is that's next. That's coming. If he gets turned down by the NCAA, the lawsuit's probably filed 30 seconds
I just wonder,
later.
Yeah, like, well, okay. Do you wait a certain number of days and then file a lawsuit to move this thing more quickly, or do you only file a lawsuit if there's a denial of what you're asking for?
I guess, Heitner's got to go, okay, should I file the lawsuit to scare the bejesus out of them, to get them to say, yes, he can play? Sort of like, that was kind of like Diego Pavia, right?
Yeah.
Because the NCAA, again, they are the Washington Generals in court. So maybe, Jay, you file it to put a little bit of a fear in them that, look, I'm just going to take you to court. And maybe you do that. And maybe that gets to go.
Yeah, I mean, did his message, what was that, Monday?
Yeah.
Maybe do that?
You hope.
You know?
You hope.
I don't know who follows the NCAA Twitter feed. You know, how far up or down the chain that person is. You know, again, is that also Skippy the intern?
Probably. My guess is.
Hey, Governor Baker, I just saw a tweet from a lawyer that says we might get sued. That's good, Skippy.
Thanks, Skippy.
Thank you, buddy.
Ready? Now go work on those probation problems we have, Skippy. Go work on Connor Stallions.
I can't do that right now. My mom's coming to pick me up for soccer practice.
And then we're going to the mall. I think that if you're Heitner, however you want to send the message that we are now prepared to go to court if we have to.
Yeah, and I think he is.
Yeah.
So here's hoping on that one. It's
get back to Poopgate?
Yeah, well, I want to hear more once we get some sound from Coach Shula a little bit later on. I remember a few years back, a lot of you will, Eric Wolford, and I suppose this would be frowned upon now, but Eric Wolford had like a pink feather boa that I suppose if one of his offensive linemen wasn't doing things the right way, that was a way to remind them of such. I suppose this is the same type of motivational tactic.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Basically,
should and I'm kidding when I ask this, right? Should the head coach know this is happening? You know, like, and they have visitors in, and Shane's like, what the hell?
That's the best part is, like, you've got a college basketball coach hanging out, and all of a sudden, here's the fake poop.
Yeah.
Hey, Connor, go get the fake poop real quick.
But I like the fact that it's you just took a dump on my desk, kind of a thing. Like, so, like this, so go get it.
Hey, here's a funny part.
But I suppose it's a thing where you don't want to be, what he needs is something that's incredibly lifelike in as many ways as possible.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Being lifelike, yes.
Yeah, you don't really want to handle it for real, but what's as close as you can get? And how offensive could you make it?
Yes.
You know, that's a motivational tactic.
Can you, if you get not obviously something real, but can you find something to give it an odor?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, something. I don't know what that is. I don't know. Lord knows they make all kinds of candles these days.
Do you think they have that?
I don't know, man. I mean, like a gag gift, hey,
Jay, go to Yankee Candles and stuff.
I know, right? Well, it's like what is it in Monsters Inc? He's got the odorant.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like wet dog and smelly garbage or something like that. You know, like somewhere out there, there's something that would make a college student go, oh my God. I really messed up, didn't I?
That Axe body spray doesn't smell great.
I know. That's all. Just douse
Spray it with Axe body spray. But I think it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. This is the first kind of glimpse we get into Mike Shula, right?
Right.
You know what? Kind of like him.
I mean, I think things like that. You know, again, you don't want to take it too far, obviously, but I do think that those kind of visual reminders are I get it as a teaching tool, as a, again, reminder, like, well, I see what you just did.
And
Like,
you're making it kind of fun.
It's
because
funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Right? And
but at the same
you're sending
time,
a message.
yeah.
And so, and again, in our world today, there are certain boundaries and lines you can't cross that were crossed years ago. But I like the idea he's doing something like that to have Lenoris and the quarterbacks understand. And it's kind of, and look, those guys are laughing. They think it's funny.
Well, number 24, please. Not only did Lenoris explain what it is that happens, but he was also asked, all right, which of you quarterbacks has to do that the most?
Nah, I haven't a lot, but Cutter, Air, those guys have done a lot just because they don't really know the system. So I mean, obviously, if you don't know it, you're gonna make some mistakes. But it happens quite a bit. Jimmy Francis, like a lot. It's a lot.
Or Jimmy Francis. Well, it's good that Lenoris is not, but he didn't say, "Oh, I never do it."
Yeah,
So he has done it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should Mike, in an effort to be more equitable, should he make it,
Yes.
if you will, easier for Lenoris to
Yes.
have to go grab it?
Yes, because I think that's fair.
And then Lenoris could be like, "Hey, man, he's like, you're the starter."
I've upped the bar on you,
Yeah.
man. The expectation for you is higher
Yeah.
than Cutter and
Yeah.
Jimmy and Air.
Just to see what happens, and then for Lenoris to cut the
Yes.
numbers down.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
All right, a couple other things here real quick. Number 21, this is also from Lenoris. This does not have anything to do with fake dog poop, but a quick hit from Lenoris on Nick Harbor's progress.
Yeah, he's just getting more comfortable, just getting more fluent, just flowing through things a lot better. I think having this spring, because he had that last couple of years, helped him a lot.
Look, I don't know. There's going to be a number of answers. I don't know how many. There's no wrong answers.
Right.
But is Nick Harbor the guy that needs to take the biggest step? He's certainly one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some guys on the offensive or defensive line. Maybe it's Oscar Attaway or one of the other running backs. Maybe it's Michael Smith at tight end. You might even make a case. Does Lenoris Sellers need to take another big step? But I think you've seen more from Lenoris. But I would think a consensus answer might fall back upon Nick Harbor.
Because you think about this, Jay. We talk about his physical gifts, right? And if you ever you got a minute and you want to watch something make you shake your head, watch him run track in high school. Remember those videos of him running track? It's like you running against your kids in the backyard. This is a guy with world-class speed, world-class athleticism. If you can get him to get, like Lenore said, comfortable, being able to do the things a wide receiver does that Nick has never had to do because he never played wide receiver before.
Right, yeah. He was tight end and a rush end.
Tight end and an edge rusher.
Yeah.
So if you can get him comfortable doing wide receiver things, the route tree, just the comfort of catching the ball with your hands and bringing it in, the way to adjust routes, the way to tap your feet, all those little technical things that he is thinking, if you can get him to stop thinking, Jay, and just start doing, you unleash all the physical ability, right? And then you know what you got? A scary player.
I think that's the biggest thing that sometimes gets forgotten, not necessarily lost, but forgotten, is that he was not a wide receiver in high school.
No, not at all.
And I remember somebody asking me, why didn't he just stay at tight end? I think it was more about, really being that wide out, that go, using that speed.
And giving him space to play in.
Yeah, I don't know that you can just – there are times, certainly, when a tight end can utilize his speed.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not in the same ways. And I think that's one thing that he was very interested in doing, too.
Yeah, play that position. And plus, you know what else? It gets you out of the wash at the line of scrimmage, too. And if you're a guy that also wants to run track, you don't want to be around the line of scrimmage with bodies flying.
No,
all
yeah,
over the
that's
place. Might help out, too. Look, and we saw near the end of the year, he was getting more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
He was starting to make more plays.
Definitely.
So we hope that develops further.
Yeah. All right. Plenty more to do. Again, Mike Yuba coming up in about 15 minutes. On the other side, a lot of you already hitting us with Start Bench Drop. Again, today's Start Bench Drop, the football stadium experience. 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, or a sideline pass. Start Bench Drop those, and Terry will open the vault when the postgame show returns. All right, welcome back in. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock. Wednesday, Jay, Terry, the post-game show. Mike Uva, Gamecock Central, coming up, top of the hour. He'll be with us for about a half hour. Top of the hour news, a little bit later on at the 5. Gamecock Notebook, lots to do. Don't forget the golf tournament coming up on Friday. I don't know, I guess that team got filled up. I don't know how that works yet. I didn't ask. I just asked.
I think you just asked. I think we are sold out.
I did just ask.
You did just ask.
Well, it was more of a statement that was a question without that lilting question feeling at the end of the.
You know, it came off as a question.
Yeah.
And then you said you didn't ask a question.
Because it was kind of both. It's a little both. But I got my answer, so there's that.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I was getting ready to go into the whole spiel.
Right.
But now I don't really need to.
No, the whole spiel. But I mean, you can still say what's
It's going to be on Friday. Well, I did. It's going to be on Friday.
Yeah.
And it's brought to you by Krager Showrooms, and there's going to be breakfast and lunch, and I won't get lunch because I won't be there. The golf gun to help Camp Discovery.
Some onion sausage on your way out, bud.
Oh, don't you worry about that.
One for each hand.
Times 2 or 3.
Well, you can fit how many? You know,
I'm going to bring my own ketchup, though.
Remember Johnny Bench could fit all those baseballs in his hand?
Yes.
How many onion sausage sandwiches can you fit in your hand?
We will find out.
I think we're going to. What's the Guinness Book of World Records on this? I think you could beat it.
Oh, I don't know. Holding them? Probably not. Because, again, I don't have Johnny Bench hands.
But I think you have Johnny Bench will.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because that's onion sausage.
I got to tell you, man, Johnny Bench is one of my 3 favorite non-Brave players ever. And I only got to see him play sparingly. I remember him from the old baseball bunch, and then just learning about how great Johnny Bench is. And now I just see him because, the thing is, what's great, I wish I could do this. I can't replicate it. Dan Patrick has Johnny Bench on 6 or 8 times a year. Dan Patrick makes no secret of the fact that Johnny Bench is his favorite baseball player of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And by now they have a great rapport. The only time I ever got to interview Dale Murphy, I've said, I turned into a little kid. I could not tell you what I asked that man. I only got to do it once. I was told I didn't make a complete fool of myself.
Well, good.
And sadly, that's one of the interviews that was lost.
Right. When whatever happened here, the Great Fire or whatever.
Well, I don't know. It wasn't that we were just told, we have a backup system for well, why did the backup system also go down? I'm afraid that we never actually had a backup system.
You're starting to think how much of that was really truthful.
I think there was one archive. There was no redundant off-site archive.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't go down together.
It's like saying the black box didn't work.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. But anyway, golf tournament Friday.
Yes.
I'll eat as much sausage as I can, but then I have to come back and prepare for a show. All right, a couple of start bench drops, and then Terry's going to open the vault. Again, today's start bench drop is your football stadium experience, 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass. Jeff says start, 50-yard line, bench, the suite, drop, the pass, the sidelines. Craig, though, says start the sidelines, bench the suite, and cut the 50-yard liners. And our good friend Mike Uva, who will be with us in mere minutes, start the sideline pass, bench the luxury suite, drop the 50-yard line seats. I've got more. We'll get to them. Y'all hit me up on Twitter. It's out there for you as today's start bench drop. In the meantime, Terry Ford is going to very carefully open the vault.
Oh, yeah, here we go. A little memory back from 2004, sir.
Phelps is coming back. Michael Phelps is coming back very strongly inside this last 5. The gold medal goes to Michael Phelps. You must be joking. That was an absolutely amazing last 25.
Michael Phelps on this day in 2004 came from behind to beat his teammate Ian Croker to win the 100-meter butterfly, 7th gold medal of the Olympics, tying Mark Spitz.
Just, I remember having a pair of Mark Spitz branded goggles as a kid.
Right.
I didn't get to see Mark Spitz do what he did because I was like a year and a half old. But I don't think there's been a more singularly dominant male Olympian in I say our lifetime than Michael Phelps.
Probably ever. I mean, what he did, just take those 2 Olympics in Athens and Beijing.
Yeah.
Just add up that.
Yeah.
And then he was in. Then he came back and had another really good Olympics. And he's got 20, almost 30 medals, gold medals before it's all said and done.
And the great rivalry with Australia. And how like the team, like the relays and stuff, like just
it was on, man.
Whether they were setting world records or not was almost. He had a few, but like that was just it was fun.
Yeah,
that was really, really fun stuff.
And just think about all the different events you've got to win to break Spitzer's records.
Yeah,
I mean, and the way swimmers are, you swim in one thing and you come back in what, like an hour maybe, or
sometimes it depends on the day, but sometimes you have to, because like some days it'll be a heat for this and then a final for that, and in the heats they know they can let up a little bit, but it depends on who's he was remarkable.
Yeah. By the way, my kid swam at his swim school, and one day Phelps was there swimming, and he stood next to my son was like 5. My son came up to his ankle. It was hilarious.
But that was pretty cool, though.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Mike Yuba on the other side. Keep it here. 4 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back into the postgame show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. We are inside the Herndon Chevy Studios in downtown Columbia, wherever you might be. Appreciate you being with us. Our good friend Mike Uva coming up here in just a few, and Mike's going to hang out for a couple of segments. We'll get into some of the things that he's been working on ahead of Gamecock football season. Earlier today, coordinators Clayton White and Mike Shula speaking to the media. We'll grab some of that for you coming up a little bit later on, too. And we have a pretty fun start bench drop. Getting some. I had one guy hit me and say, "Are we talking about Williams-Brice?" No, we're just talking about a football stadium. So you pick a stadium. Doesn't have to be Williams-Brice. It can, whatever stadium you want, man. Totally fine with me. But today, again, stadium experience start bench drop. So you're starting benching, dropping 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, or the sideline, getting a sideline pass. And when I say 50-yard line seats, I'm thinking of those 50-yard line seats that are probably like 15 rows up, so that you get that perfect viewing angle as well. But wherever you feel like you want to sit on the 50. First couple of rows of the 50 in some places might not be all that great, because you're like, hey, why is that tall guy standing in front of me? So we'll go with 50-yard line seats, let's say, or at least 10 rows up. That way, again, you've got a nice angle. And hopefully there's somebody sitting in front of you that is more diminutive than yourself.
Well, that's the issue about the 50-yard line. You got to be up because you don't want to look at players' butts the whole game.
No. So you don't want to be right there on the like at Williams-Brice, I had a buddy who had they had seats on the wall, and I'm like, sometimes like you got to stand all day.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying.
Well, we had a participant in our little
we
gave on the phone line right now.
We gave our good friend Mike Uva's choices just a second ago. He joins us now on the guest line. Good to have you back. How's the summer been? How's the tan? All those kind of things.
Yeah, not sitting by the pool as much. That's one thing in comparison to being.
That's a you problem, dude. That's a you problem.
The deal is he's engaged now. He's got a list. He's got stuff to do.
Sure.
Oh, I'll tell you what. All I know is, I'm not great with math. Let's see, April, August. The wedding is still on since the last time we talked. We haven't.
Don't need math for that, my man.
Yes, I've learned some new. I've learned some new vocab like yes, dear.
Yep.
And I feel like I've been saying that more than anything. And yes, whatever you want. Yes, just tell me what. So I've just been learning a lot. Yes, has been kind of the big thing.
Mike, there's another we need to learn. Oh yeah, you're right, sweetheart. You're right. You're right.
Although it will ultimately morph into, why did you even ask me?
I will say this. She is very low maintenance, so it's made the process much easier. I'm sure, in comparison to listening to some of my buddies who've got married over the years. So. I'm grateful for that, and the countdown is under 280-something days, 270 days. So just like I said, I just can't screw it up between now and the I do part.
Yeah. Mike, I have full confidence that you'll screw this up. No, Mike, I have full confidence you will come through,
dude,
my man.
I will tell you what I did. I did screw it up. Here's how. So we had our rehearsal, right? The night before. You have a rehearsal. Everybody does it. And I was told exactly where to stand and, the things I would need to be saying. We go through the vowels, blah, 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 blah. Saturday, I'm just a mental wreck, right? I stood in the total wrong place the whole time. The whole time. And Sonny says to me after, she goes, you're standing in the wrong place the whole time, right? And I was like, was I? I'm sorry. I was like, at least I was down front with you.
I got a better idea, Mike. Just have Jay give you advice and do the opposite.
That's right. Yeah. Well, just pay attention to where you're supposed to stand. You know what? Here, Mike. You're in TV. You probably have at times you have like the marks. So just set a mark. See, that's what I should have done.
Tape.
Yeah. I should have put an X of tape. I should have done that, and it would have been fine. But anyway, no, we're thrilled for you, and glad things are going well. You're getting married in May, yes?
Yes, I'm just told not to share the location because she's just afraid that it will just turn into wedding crashers with all our lovely Gamecock friends.
No, this is the South, man. We don't do that kind of thing down here. We don't do that. They might crash the reception.
I've been getting DMs. People are asking, like, where's it going to be? And I'm just like,
no.
Don't screw it up, Mike.
That's where you could screw it up. Don't do as much as the people may be well-meaning. Do not do not do that. Yeah, do not do that. All right. Mike did give us a start bench drop. You had some good logic on this too. Mike wants to start the sideline pass, bench the luxury suite, and drop the 50-yard line seats. And you make mention having experienced all three at Williams-Brice. That's what you do. And you make some and I will say the luxury suite does have its own bathroom. That's probably that might be the number one thing there.
That's a great positive.
Yeah. But instead of just start bench drop, which we'll come back around to, sir, I know you had a big piece at Central this week on some of the biggest things you're looking at. Kind of tell us the process you went through and what you settled upon and why.
Well, I mean, with some of those, you want to have a little fun, right? You can't just pick, like, boring ones. Like, you can't just say something that everyone's probably thinking because that's just no fun. But you don't want to get maybe too crazy. Maybe some, in the eyes of some people, they do think it's crazy. For what it's worth, the last couple of years, I've hit more than I've missed. Like Josh Simon last year, I said he was going to have over 5 touchdowns. And he did that. So, just stuff like that. Having said that, I think the big one for me this year, and I was talking with Tyler Head about it, the one that grabbed his attention, I think Brian Thomas Jr. will finish in the top 10 in the SEC in sacks. And my logic was, I do think there's going to be a lot of attention towards Dylan Stewart. Yeah. You got to think that Brian Thomas had 4.5 sacks last year as the number 3 edge guy, and he played in 200 less snaps than a guy like Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart. So when you combine those things, it's like, all right, there could be a possibility where he's getting more attention. However, or more opportunities to have sacks. However, what it's going to come down to is the big what if, certainly about this defense. What do you get from a production standpoint from that defensive tackle room? I like the things that I've heard going back to the spring. But if they're able to get that push, obviously big shoes to replace, not just in the starting 2, but even just the whole room as a whole, from a depth standpoint, replacing a guy like Boogie and some of the guys that were role players behind, obviously TJ and Tonka. If you're able to get that push, man, it could be a really good year for Brian Thomas.
All right. A lot of folks are talking about the running back room when other folks have been on, will face on, be eligible, things of that nature. And then everybody says, well, then you're probably going to have a big running back by committee situation. You, my friend, though, Oscar Attaway will score at least 10 touchdowns. Please explain, sir.
Oscar Attaway, from a versatility standpoint, he is exactly what I think South Carolina needs this year when you're talking about playing off the strengths of Lenore Sellers. He's arguably one of the best pass blockers they have, which I think gets overlooked so much. But the other thing, too, that he can do is he can make an impact as a pass catcher. So when you combine those two things, you're going to find yourself on the field more times than not than some of the other running backs, simply because you can block. That's something that Marcus Lattimore would talk to me a lot about when there was ongoing conversations in the past about, okay, you have a running back competition. What's the biggest thing that you can do to help yourself? And he's like, if you're able to block, they're going to put you on the field. So I think because of that, that will help him on the field. And because of the skill set that Sellers has, it's going to open up opportunities. So I think he's going to do a good job of being able to run the football. I know some people want to talk about, I didn't see enough from him last year. What are you talking about? The guy was only able to play X amount of snaps because you had a phenomenal running back in front of him in Rocket Sanders. When Rocket wasn't able to go, and I've been saying this over and over, there were some reporters, I love some of my colleagues, but some people acted like they didn't know that he was playing on a messed up ankle in the bowl game. I mean, we put it out multiple times. I'm not saying my work, but just other. He was playing on a messed up ankle, and he still had over 100-something yards of offense, led the team in receptions, and he scored a touchdown. So I think he's a guy, and I can tell you from talking to people, this coaching staff, very, very pleased on where he is right now. And I think he's going to be a guy that's going to surprise a lot of people. And guess what? You get into those red zone situations on some of those read options, what's likely going to happen? The defense is going to cave in on Lenoris, and that's going to leave the running back opportunities to run right from the middle.
Talking to our buddy Mike Uva, Gamecock Central. Staying with Oscar for a second, But I want to take this bigger picture too. So let me ask you a long question, and then I'll let you run with it. No pun intended. Sorry about that. How much does the Rasul situation play into the motivation of some of these other guys? And I guess what I mean is, is it more of a, man, they keep talking about him, but what about us? Or is it not that big a deal? But then in terms of just that level of motivation, how much of the us against the world, or they're not respecting us enough, can this entire ball club benefit from? So I'll let you take it from running backs, but then extrapolate out really to the whole team.
The feeling that I get from talking to people in that building is there's not this sense of, oh man, everyone's talking about Faison, they're not talking about me, from that running back room position. It's more so, hey, look, like, we know what this guy can bring to the team. I can tell you from talking to people who've spoken with Oscar wants him to be eligible. Even though Oscar feels very confident that he's going to be the number one running back, he wants him on the field because he knows the impact that he can have with helping the team, even if that eats into some of the carries and touches and snaps that he might have. Having said that, I'm sure the guys like a Matthew Fuller or a Howell, they might look at it a little differently. I'm sure that if they were in front of the camera, they would say everything politically correct, but they're not dumb. They know if Faison's in there, that's going to eat into their carries, because there's a possibility that a guy like Matthew Fuller, who's had a really good camp, he could be the number 2 guy if Faison's not out there. So I think from a team standpoint, it's not going to surprise anyone, or shouldn't, at least from the culture that Beamer has built, that these guys want to do whatever it takes to be able to see the team do well. But at the same time, too, I'm sure, when you go to bed at night and you're thinking about it, would it be nice to be able to get more snaps, to be able to help the team win? Of course. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in that situation?
All right, Mike, you also bring up a fast start. You've got to start fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tricky thing is when you look at that schedule, and we all do it, right? You look at the schedule when it came out, and you're just saying, okay, that should be a win. That should be. The tricky part about it isn't even necessarily, in my opinion, the fact of you really get into like the teeth of the schedule once you get into October. It's the fact of where some of these games are. It's the fact that you got to go out to Ole Miss. It's the fact that you got to go to LSU. It's the fact that you got to go out to Texas A&M. I mean, even though Missouri might be taking a step backwards this year as they transition at multiple positions, that's a place early on in the year that it's been a struggle for you. So, you go on the road early on, and a place you've had some issues with, and, a little bit further out certainly than Kentucky, but that's something that South Carolina did last year. At some point, in order to take that next step, you have to be able to get these monkeys off your back. They did that last year at Kentucky. Now you're going to go out to Missouri. That's the monkey you're trying to get off your back now. And if you're able to start off hot, it's really going to allow you, in my opinion, to be able to play freer. That's not saying, lazier or not as clean. But when you get into that back half of the schedule, if you have one loss already, you're really putting yourself in a tough spot, because let's call it for what it is. You need to most likely put yourself in a record at 10-2, so you're leaving it out of the committee's hands, right? If you're 9-3, even if you do all the right things like we saw last year, you're beating ranked team after ranked team. You're one of the hottest teams in college football. You beat a team that's ranked ahead of you in Clemson. You're still leaving it into the committee's hands. So you really need to be able, if you want to make the college football playoff, and I know we have a small sample size, but I really feel like you have to be at 10-2 to feel comfortable about it. And if you're already down a game or two at the beginning of the season before you play the meat of your schedule, it's really going to be difficult to do, especially with those games on the road.
Our buddy Mike Uva hanging out with us here. He's going to hang on for another segment as we get more of his predictions on the upcoming season, including one on his list that I absolutely, before I even saw his list, I was like, I think this is going to happen. So I was very happy. This is like when Whittle agreed with me about linebackers. It's the same kind of thing. See, it's like, hey, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, but then
I know. But
Whittle
don't worry.
Second-guessed everything about himself after he found out he agreed with you.
I know. Now John's going to retire and go into real estate or something. Yuva might do that too. Who knows? We'll see. But no, there is one I agree with. More from Mike Uva. And again, today's start bench drop, the football stadium experience. Stadium of your choice. 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass. Start, bench, drop those things. You're listening to the postgame show. 19 minutes after 4 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you in downtown Columbia. Our good friend Mike Yuva hanging out on the guest line, talking Gamecock football ahead of the upcoming season, going over Mike's predictions for 2025 Carolina football. You can find him at GamecockCentral.com. And Mike has already weighed in with his own perspective on today's start bench drop. Again, the football stadium experience, 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass. Y'all start bench drop those. We'll have a lot. We got a lot of you hitting us. Thank you. And we'll get some on the text line as well, 803-404-6100 on the Firehouse Subs text line. Mr. Yuva, one that I absolutely agree with you on. I was doing an out-of-market interview a couple of weeks ago, and I said a lot of people know who Jalen Kilgore is, but they're not talking enough about Judge Collier. And you have here on your list, Judge Collier will be named All-SEC first team. I think he can be. I know you're making the prediction based on some of these things. I certainly think he is going to be a name to be heard, and I agree with your very I think your second sentence here. You say, I think Judge Collier is about to see his NFL draft stock skyrocket this season. I'm with you on that one. Tell us more of why you made this prediction.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk to people in that building, but even some of the former players, and I think I've shared this before in Gamecock Central, but talking with someone like Marcellus Dial, and this goes back to even at the beginning of last season, he's like, Judge Collier is going to be the next big-time Gamecock player to come out there. He's like, everyone's going to talk about Jalen, and he's like, rightfully so. He's like, no one's talking about Judge the way that they should. And when you look at him from a size standpoint, right, he has the length, right? I'm not saying he's as lengthy as someone like Odie Fortune, but he's got length. He's got the size. And when you look at what's happening, especially in the NFL, I mean, you're seeing it in the college game, in the SEC, but you have these lengthier, taller cornerbacks. And one of the reasons why is because if you do get beat, it allows you to make up some of that cushion that you gave up because of your length, right? These are all things that I just did not have going for me, and that's probably why Assumption started winning as soon as I left. And then they brought in Carlin Spittel in South Carolina. Right? Yeah. So, but it's the God's honest truth. That's the first thing. And then from talking to Torian Gray in the past, I haven't spoken with Torian about him in quite some time, but the biggest thing that he's told me is like he picks things up quickly. Like he loves to learn. He loves watching film. And when you think about some of the talented players that he's been able to learn from, whether it be a Marcellus Dial or even, yes, he's a corner, but just being around guys like Nick Eamon-Worry, he's been able to pick up things that are going to help him, not just this year, but in the NFL. So I think what it comes down to more than anything is how often are they going to test him, right? Because I think he's going to be the strong point from a cornerback standpoint. No disrespect to Bakari Swain or Cissé, but I think he's going to be their number one corner. And, if you have a top receiver, they're going to put him on you simply because he's that talented. And I think he's going to really be a name that at the end of the season, that if people don't know who he is, they're going to find out quickly. Yeah,
completely agree, man. And you're right, 6'2", 200 pounds. I mean, he's a difference maker. I completely agree.
All right, man. So I think you picked out somebody that on the surface is a surprise who you think will be the leading tackler for the Carolina defense. Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Yeah, DQ Smith. I mean, if you look at what South Carolina has done since Clayton White has arrived there, of the 4 seasons, they have had their safety has led the team in tackling. Now, I know, probably some people who, back in my day, the linebacker, the game's changed. The game's changed with the way that the nickels are used, the way that the safeties drop down in the box more. You're seeing more safeties lead the team in tackling. Now, of those 4 years, Debo Williams, linebacker, of course, he's the outlier. Nick Eamon-Worry was 2 times on that list as the leading tackler. Jalen Foster was the other one, which, oh, by the way, Jalen was an All-American that year, which going into the season, I don't think a lot of people expected that, right? He had a phenomenal career. So I say that because I think with DQ Smith moving over now from the safety position he's been playing now over into that Nick Eamon-Worry role, he's going to be able to play freer. He's going to be in the box more, and he's going to have opportunities to be able to tackle. They wouldn't put him in that spot if they didn't think he could tackle, especially help out in the run game. The only person that I think could take that spot is Fred Johnson. And simply put, Fred is not built like a linebacker. Fred is built like he's built like a safety. He moves quicker than most linebackers, and that guy is just an absolute tank. So I decided to go. As much as I beat up on the nerds, as I say, when it comes to analytics, I'm leaning towards the analytics here with this defense, and I'm going with the safety to lead the team in tackling once again.
All right, talking to our buddy Mike Uva, Gamecock Central. All right, beyond anything you put in print this week, what's a phase of the game, a player, a unit, something? What's something that we need to be talking about more this coming season?
I do want to hit on one that I mentioned, Jay, because I've seen some people look at the one that I put about Mason Love being a two-time SEC punt, special teams player of the week. And naturally, the first thing they think of is, man, if our punter's punting a lot, that's not a good thing. South Carolina punted the ball 47 times last year, okay? 47 times. Kai Kroger, I think he finished in the top 5 in the country. LSU, the 2019 national championship team, you know how many times they punted, arguably one of the best offenses in college football history? You know how many times they punted that season?
More than 47.
47 on the dot.
Right on there.
So you can still have a very good offense and still punt at around that rate and have a very good punter. When it comes down to more than anything, it's up in the field. Kai Kroger was one of the best in the country last year, and that's another reason why Clayton White pointed out he made such a big difference on their defense with flipping and helping the defense. I think one thing that's not being talked about, Jay, and we talked about this, I think, on your show not too long ago, is just the depth that they have been able to build on the offensive line to a point now where you have, granted, we're going to see a lot of oars. Who are we kidding when it comes to the depth chart that's going to come out next week? But we could see a lot of interesting looks on that offensive line. I'm talking about how that left guard position turns out. I'm talking about that right tackle position. Oluwatosin Babalade, big treat, making a push at right tackle behind Kason Henry, who's held that spot down as he's battled through injuries going back to 2 seasons ago. I'm very interested to see how it pans out. Marquis Anderson, finally healthy. He's making a push. So I'm just very intrigued to see what that starting offensive line unit will look like, because the more I hear about it, it's exactly what they've been trying to do, which is create competition, recruit out of the portal, recruit out of high school and develop. And now they're getting to a point that I feel like this is the deepest offensive line room they've had in quite some time. But as we all know, it's not about how deep the offensive line room is. It's can you find 5 guys that can play in sync the best.
Last thing for you, I know you're also covering the National Football League, up in covering the Patriots a little bit, but I'm just going to ask you, I should feel how confident that the Denver Broncos are going to go 17-0?
Well, they just lost our guy, Nick Gargiulo, so I'm really bummed about that. He's in good spirits. Talked to him the other day. He's in good spirits, bummed. But, look, I like Sean Payton. I think he's talented, but that's not one bet I'd make, Jay.
Okay.
It's not one bet I'd make.
I needed somebody who covers the league.
What is the Vegas book on Denver going undefeated? $1 billion to 1?
I don't know. That's
$2 billion?
I might put some money on
I was
that.
gonna say it's worth throwing like a buck on
I'll
it.
put like $10 on that.
Sure.
Yeah. Then I could buy the radio station.
My top bet, my top bet from a pro standpoint would be Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year.
Okay.
I like the odds for that. Granted, it all depends what book you're looking at, but I can see him. 4 wins last year. If you make the playoffs with 10 wins with an easy schedule, he could do it. Yeah. Andy Reid has the worst odds, so it just goes to show they don't, they want to see improvement.
All right, I got about 30 seconds for you. Do New England Patriot fans become North Carolina Tar Heel fans or haters?
Haters. Sports talk radio up here, they can't stand that Belichick's in college. They think that's so beneath him. But it'll be very intriguing once the honeymoon phase is done, if they start losing games and, Bill goes out there and if he goes back to his old Bill Belichick ways, which I know very much about from doing interviews with him, and he just gives you absolutely nothing. So, he's not doing – I don't know if you guys know this.
He's not doing
a radio show. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
And by the way, Mike, I'm stunned that Boston sports talk is filled with hate.
Well, it's we talk about talking season in college. There's not much to talk about right now. The Red Sox got, they've been hot and cold, but it's so much better just to continue to just dump on Belichick. At least even when they were winning, that's what they like to do up here. So
thank you, bud.
Good stuff as always,
Appreciate
sir.
You,
we'll holler at you soon. Appreciate you. That's our good friend Mike Uva, Mike_Uva, to follow along on Twitter, GamecockCentral.com. More start, bench, drop, and Jay or Nay coming up.
All right, if you are kind of not the guy you were in your 20s or 30s as you roll through your 40s and 50s or 60s or whatever, and you just don't feel right, you feel off, you don't have that drive you used to in life, you're not sleeping, you're not strong as you used to be in the gym, you don't bounce back when you exercise, you can't remember what you forgot, and you can't forget what you remember. Could be simple, could be low testosterone. You call 803-875-MENS. Make this call. Dr. Dan and the staff will sit down with you, a free confidential consultation. Tell them what's going on with you. It could be low testosterone. They might do lab work on you if they think it could be low T. If it comes back low testosterone, they'll then put you on a program that is designed specifically for you to get you to start feeling like you again. Make that call. 803-875-MENS. Don't be like a normal guy and blow everything off. There's a way to get better and feel better. It's a men's clinic of South Carolina. All right, time to check the roads first time today here on the game. Shop Road at Atlas Road in Richlands, there's an accident. Also, Two Notch Road, there's an accident. North Grampian Hills Road as well. Two Notch and Sparkleberry Lane, also an accident. Then we have our typical construction issues. Atomic Road, both northbound and southbound, is shut down because of construction. Blink Bonnie Road between Belfield Road and Ridgetop Lane, the bridge is blocked. Construction, I-26 between Hugie and I-126 between Hugie and I-26. I-26, Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road, and I-20 and 26, exit 64 and 65, Bush River Road and Broad River Road. We'll jump back in. It's a post-game show.
All right, welcome back in. It is the post-game show here on a Wednesday. Jay and Terry with you. Thanks again to our good friend Mike Yuba for hanging out with us. Got more Gamecocks to get into here in just a second. Mike mentioning Mason Love. Coach Beamer had a couple of things about the specialists that I want to get into. Today's start bench drop, a good one. Again, not as spirited as yesterday's that had to do with cookies. Again, I'm not even kidding. I think, again, Terry and I yesterday, if you missed the show, we did this. Shane talked about his wife Emily's baking skills and how they were, people on Netflix or seeing her on Netflix, and then like she's not cooking those long enough or something, and it's like, dude, this is where we're going with it. But anyway, apparently he brought the cookies in. The cookies are good. He brought them in for the media, but it just made us have a start bench drop of chocolate chip, peanut butter, or oatmeal cookies.
Dude, people wanted to throw hands yesterday over these cookies.
And Terry and I I'm not sure what happened to people, but like they're not everybody, but for people that were dropping the oatmeal cookie, launch it into space, throw it into a black hole, vomit cookie.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And Terry and I were like, man, either you had a horrible, horrible experience as a child or as an adult, like an oatmeal cookie stole your girlfriend.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I don't know which one it is. Could be both for some of these guys.
It was intense
I was like,
personal
wow.
hate for the oatmeal cookie.
Wow. What did the oatmeal cookie do to you,
It wasn't just I don't like it. It was like it was personal.
No. I mean, I was seriously kind of like, damn. Like,
wow.
what happened here?
Exactly.
We're not having that today, which is good.
Yeah.
It's good. Today, it was rather jarring for some.
It's one of those, honestly, we'll have some fun with cookies, right?
Yeah.
It took a dark turn.
I did not
took a dark turn.
Some of the things we got. I was like, man, y'all really, some of you do not like an oatmeal. Not only don't like it, you don't want it to exist.
Yeah, you want them to disappear like it's illegal to make an oatmeal cookie.
May as well be heroin or something.
I'm telling you.
Arrest people for this.
It was awful. I mean, nobody had that kind of hate for the chocolate chip or the peanut butter. It was all oatmeal, man.
No, man, but wow.
It was
anyway.
It was eye-opening.
It was. Anyway, today's start bench drop, perhaps easier, depends. They're not supposed to be easy. But the football stadium experience is what we're starting benching and dropping today. 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, or sideline pass. And one guy hit us and kind of said, maybe a club level instead of the luxury suite. If that's your bag, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. The rules here are not too strict on these kind of things.
Right.
Right. We try to be. It's sports talk.
Right. Unless it's cookies, then it's serious.
Yeah. Now, if the luxury suites only serve oatmeal cookies, then you might want to drop it. I don't know. Well, let's get to a few of those real quick here, if I may, and then we'll get back into some more Shane. A lot of you have hit us. Thank you. I can't get to all these right now, but I will do my best to get to a few. Chase says, start the 50-yard line seats, bench the suite, drop the sideline pass. And he says, sideline pass involves standing and being alert for approximately 3 straight hours. Yeah, that's fair. It does.
Mm-hmm.
Maddie says, start the sideline, bench the 50-yard line, cut the luxury suite. He says the luxury suites are for non-fans. Ooh, you barely watch the game sometimes in those.
I get that.
There are some that would fit that description.
I've done a few of these luxury suite things in my life, and you have some people in there who don't care about the game.
That's very true. That's very true.
Not wrong.
Maria says, start the sideline pass, bench the luxury suite, Drop the 50-yard line seats. Says sideline pass was one of my favorite sporting event moments. Okay.
I will say this: if you've ever had a sideline pass, you're still on the sidelines of a football game.
Yep.
It's eye-opening.
It's a whole different animal. The last time I did it, I was doing. It was a Carolina Wofford game, and I forget what year. I don't know, Terry. Maybe 20-ish years ago, and I did the sideline reporting. They were for a closed internet broadcast before the. You know what I'm saying? So I was the sideline guy.
Right.
And it was fun, man, because I'd done that for spring games, and I've done that for us for spring games and stuff. But when you're down there doing that, and I was working, and I got a director in my ear, and all these kind of things. But you're right; it's a different animal.
You don't realize how fast and violent the game is until you're that close.
And there's a lot of people down there.
Yes.
And the other guy that said, the awareness levels are very high.
He's not wrong about that, because if you're not paying attention, guess what? You end up on the ground.
You might lose a limb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nobody needs that. But it was cool. That's the last time I've done that. And let's see. Taylor hit me and said, "Are we talking 50-yard line seats on the west or east?" Again, it's not just Williams-Brice, so it could be a dome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it could be the old Aloha Stadium where they had the Pro Bowl.
There you go.
Whatever you want, man.
Right.
So your choice, dude. But I realize that I guess if you're sitting on the east side in the afternoons at Williams-Brice, that can be uncomfortable on certain days.
Okay.
I understand that because
makes sense.
That giant ball of fusing hydrogen and helium does create problems.
Can be uncomfortable at times.
A little bit. Just say.
I mean, 50-yard line seats in the right spot are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They really are.
But if you're in the sun all day,
that's not phenomenal.
Put on some sunscreen, get a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And David says, start the sideline pass, bench the 50-yard line seats, drop the luxury suite. He says, I get suites are nice, but I like to be close to the action on the field.
There you go.
That's fair.
That is fair.
All right. Good stuff.
No, shoot the 50-yard line seats into space or their vomit.
No vomit seats.
All right.
Although I've seen people vomit on their seats.
I've seen people vomit a lot.
I promise you. I've seen that.
I agree.
More than once. Thank God, I will say this. I never have. I'm not saying I couldn't have been close to that, but I never have. But
I've been around it.
But I will say, one time in the student section, my man, I'm like, dude, I don't know how much you've had today, but it's all right there.
Yeah, I was at a baseball game once, and a couple guys were sitting behind us. It was a crew of us.
Yeah.
And whatever that guy had all day long, it was
all right
down
there.
The seats.
No, and I've seen that a few times.
Yep.
But one time in the student section, I was like, damn, bro. He probably didn't get up till Monday.
From the seat.
Right. Well, yeah, no, they got him out of there. I promise you. He went somewhere. Real quick, please, before we go any further. Cut number. Do I have time for this? Yeah, cut 10. Actually, I don't have time, Terry. I don't have. I'll tell you what. Because that's a longer cut. I didn't realize. Yeah, and we're up against a break. Hit us up again. Start bench drop. I want to play this. This is Coach Beamer giving us an update on special teams. We'll do that for you. And Jay or Nay coming up. You are listening to the Wednesday postgame show.
Test. Check of traffic here in the Midlands. Accidents, they're starting to pile up a bit. Shop Road at Atlas Road, we have an accident. Also, Two Notch Road near Sparkleberry Lane, an accident as well. And Two Notch Road at North Grampian Hills Road as well. Also, our long-term construction going on Atomic Road north and southbound is closed. Blink Bonnie Road between Belfield Road and Ridgetop Lane, the bridge is blocked. And we have construction I-126 between Hugie and 26. That's a check on the roads.
All right, welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on. Or is this the time when I was supposed to say welcome back into our program? Here on this Wednesday. We are happy to have you with us as we are talking American football for the Gamecocks.
Lebowski.
Shane Beamer and his team are preparing for a new season. Well, they will be very good. Or at least that's the hope. All right, I won't do that anymore. I don't want to creep anybody out. There are a lot of you that I will.
Creeping out's putting you in the outfit as you do that voice.
Well, what did Dieter always wear? Just the all black with the turtleneck and the glasses.
Yeah, that was really creepy. You doing the voice is dressing you up.
Don't worry, I can find ways, man.
I bet, man. I bet you could be creepy if you wanted to.
I can find ways. Well, usually the way I can be creepy is just to talk about someone else who would then creep you out. At least that's what I'd like to believe. There are
cut with Beamer first before Jay or Nay?
Yeah, let's do that real quick here. Here's Coach Beamer. Because again, special teams matter so much, especially to this head coach. And they're replacing a lot, and they've been doing all they can to create as much competition and tension in special teams as they can. So here's an update from Shane.
What cut was that again, bud?
It was cut number 12.
There we go. That's between 11 and 13, right?
As far as you know.
Okay.
Just the consistency of doing their job, snapping, holding, kicking, punting, as it gets closer to game day. And that's, last Saturday we tried to put them in more tough situations, and 2-minute drive where it's a field goal to win, and they both got, multiple kickers got out there and kicked field goals in that scenario, field goal to win. Tried to make it game-like with people screaming, me on the microphone, William Joyce, Mason Love, Peyton Argent, Max Kelly, whoever on the field to attempt a 48-yard field goal or whatever it might be. And just, seeing them go out there and be able to perform and just be consistent, that was the biggest thing as well. And not that they weren't beforehand, but I just saw more consistency out of that on Saturday afternoon.
And this goes back to Coach Muschamp, and Coach Beamer has said the same things, and we've talked about it, and I know we've mentioned this already a couple times this month. Doing all you can to make them nervous, and again tense, the tension, because I just don't know that there really is any replication.
Yeah, there's not.
But everything you can do. But as I've said too, and I kid a little bit, but there's some seriousness in it. If everybody has to run if you miss, then they just hate you. And
right, there's not pressure.
And you need to trust that guy, right? That's a different dadgummit kicker.
Right.
So I don't think they're doing that, but that's just what can you
Peyton
do?
Manning, Mike Vanderjagt, that's our drunk, stupid kicker. You really don't want to go down that road. No. I'll say this, though, and maybe it's just me. Whenever I hear coaches talk or press conferences, GMs, whoever, I always listen to what they're not saying. And I'm not hearing Shane go, yeah, I'm feeling really good about the kickers and the punters, and I'm feeling really good about the special teams. I tell you what, we're in a really good spot right now. I'm not hearing that.
Yeah.
Now, again, can it get better? Sure. I mean, it has to get better. And to me, I've said this to you before, just don't lose games. Just hold your own. If you're not out there completing passes like Kai Kroger or getting big returns, like Xavier Legette, or kicking field goals of 50-plus. Just don't lose games, especially as you're trying to get this thing pieced together. But I'm not hearing a lot of, woohoo,
right.
This is going great.
Well, and I think, too, how much added pressure and tension, if you will, does that put on the offense? Listen, we don't need to be kicking 38-yarders we can handle, right? 48, 52, whatever. I mean, sometimes you're just going to try one, but we'll see. Plenty more from the coaches coming up. In the meantime, it's Jay or Nay.
All right, well, Jay or Nay. I'm going through Andy Staples' bold predictions. You tell me, Jay or Nay. Jay or Nay, Auburn's going to win 9 games at least.
Nay. I see Auburn 7-5, 8-4.
Yeah, I feel like 7 wins.
And you know what? Auburn's done a lot to, like Indiana, they've done a lot to now add more hate towards them.
But the good news is, no matter what happens, they've added 9 more national championships.
9 times national champions.
James Franklin will be a top 5 team for the first time since 2016 this year.
They don't have Ohio State, right? They have Oregon.
They do have Ohio State.
They do have Ohio State? Okay. And they have Oregon or not?
Yes. That's not a J or nay.
Nay.
Nay. All righty. After going 5-7 last year, Utah will play for the Big 12 title.
Ooh, I like that one. Yeah, I can go J on
I'm
that.
Jaying on that
I can
one.
go J
I
on
totally
that.
believe in Utah
Yeah,
this year.
I can go J there.
They brought in a quarterback that can play in Dampier.
I like Whittingham. I like how he coaches. Like they're they're one of the few defensive teams in that conference too. So I like that.
They play with toughness.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick will win fewer than 5.5 regular season games on the over/under.
Wow. Nah, you know what? I think they're going to go 6-6. So that's a nay.
You're going under. Arch Manning will have an excellent season and be back in 2026.
J.
He better, but that's what he should do.
J.
Yes.
To both.
Alabama will win the SEC title.
For over 40. Nay. I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that one either.
Nay.
I don't think so.
I'm sticking with Georgia until somebody beats Georgia. I do like Texas. If I'm going to pick a so-called dark horse, and that's not, I think LSU can win the SEC too.
LSU should be talked about more.
Yeah.
I think so.
But
Tulane will be the
Georgia,
group of
Bama,
five
and
team.
Texas are just so much more. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Tulane will be the group of 5 team that makes the college football playoff. Jay or nay?
Ooh, golly, I haven't done enough scouting of that. They are going to be very good. I think Boise's going to be good again. They don't have an Ashton Jeanty. I think Memphis is going to be all right.
Memphis is going to be under the radar good.
So if it's like Tulane or the Field, give me the Field. So nay.
Nay.
Yeah, but I like Tulane.
I mean, they're going to be in the mix.
I think
they're going to be in the mix.
Yeah.
John Summerall will have a Power 4 job this time next year. Jay or nay? I feel like a J on that one.
Yeah, I think yeah. That sounds good. Headlines of the day coming up, including some interesting changes for college baseball. Keep it here. All right, summer beginning to wind down, at least in terms of what the calendar tells us, right? It's going to be warm around here for a while, but as those hot days dwindle, you can still have some nice nights, and right now you can save up to $2,500 on a brand new Bullfrog Spa at Griffin Pools and Spas. It's their Labor Day sale, so it runs through, you guessed it, Labor Day. So you've got a chance now and for the next couple of weeks to see the folks at Griffin over there in Lexington, right near the Lake Murray Dam, and check out the entire inventory and what they can do for you. You can see a lot of these things. They're right there in the showroom. I've seen them. I even sat in one once. No water because I didn't want to, do that. I asked. They're like, yeah, we're not going to fill it up for you, sir. I was like, come on, man. There's a little something. They're like, nah, not today. No, in all seriousness, you can do that right now and take advantage of great opportunities. Bullfrog, you can get every single seat doing something different, and you and your family and friends will love it. Check them out, griffinpoolsandspas.com.
checking the traffic accident. Just a couple of them popped in here on Cox Ferry Road near Old Charleston Road and also Cox Ferry Road near Nazareth Road. Peach Festival Road between Warren Road and US 1. Two Notch Road near Sparkleberry Lane, and also Two Notch at North Grampian Hills Road. We have, obviously, our construction has been going on forever. I-20 between I-26, exit 64, exit 65, Broad River Road. Also I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road. I-126 between Hugie and I-26.
It is 5 o'clock news time here on a Wednesday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the postgame show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Thank you so much for being with us. We start with some Gamecock football news. Yesterday, Coach Beamer and some players went. Today, it was the coordinator's turn. Mike Shula and Clayton White speaking to the media down at the football facility. And so much attention, obviously, being focused upon Lenora Sellers in this offseason. And Coach Shula talking a lot about his quarterbacks. And we'll get you some sound from that in just a second here, too. It's been, I don't know where, at this point, a lot of fans are in terms of their very specific expectations for Lenora Sellers. I mean, look, if you're a fan, you want him to win the Heisman Trophy, right? And he's certainly in the mix. I think he's got the fourth best odds right now to win the Heisman, depending on what sportsbook you look at anyway. He comes into the season, at least from a media day's perspective, as the top pick or the top quarterback in the conference, voted on by the guys and girls in Atlanta. But how much does he need to change and those kind of things? Those are some of the questions that Coach Shula has been asked. So we'll come back around to some of that for you in just a second. I think we're having a little issue here with some of the sound. We'll get that for you in just a minute. Let me get to a couple other headlines of the day, and we'll circle back around to the Gamecocks. This one's interesting. So we obviously talk a lot of college baseball here in Columbia and across the state of South Carolina. The NCAA has announced, it was actually, I guess, late yesterday, that the NCAA tournament starting this school year, so the 2026 tournament, will begin seeding teams 1 through 32 instead of just 1 through 16. Now, obviously 1 through 8 are your national seeds and could host supers as long as they advance, and 9 through 16 will also host. But that's been it. And everything else, while they try to do it with some level of parity, as we all know, a lot of it has to do with geography, i.e. shorter travel means less cost. And I think a lot of baseball folks have said, listen, that's making for an inequitable tournament. We've got to find a way to do better. So starting this coming season, they'll be seeded 1 through 32. However, you won't necessarily have number 1 as a 1 seed, if you will, the overall national seed, be paired up with a 2 seed in their region that is number 32, because they will still do all they can to avoid conference matchups. Now, that might get a lot harder for some of these. So instead, there's a plan, and I don't want to confuse you with too much of it. It's a lot easier, perhaps, if Kendall Rogers had this at D1 Baseball today, and you can read it there, and I imagine the NCAA has more on this, too, on their website. But instead, and Terry, you may have to help me out with this. It'll be, I'm kidding a little bit. Team 1 would have one of number 29, 30, 31, or 32. And then another one of those would be with number 2 and then number 3 and number 4. But if they have a conference conflict with those, then they may have to substitute. So I don't think this is something that is going to be etched in concrete. Whether it's in pen or very fine pencil or, I'm not exactly sure how that's all going to go down. On top of that, teams outside of the top 16, again, would be placed in what they call groups. There will be some level of geographic consideration. So we're just going to have to see. And I imagine this is something that they'll play with. I in theory, though, Terry, I like this. I think this is good for the sport. And if I may, don't stop there. There's no reason to think you can't seed the entire field. I mean, you do it in basketball. You can do it in baseball. I don't know how much more difficult it is, but it can be done. And as we've said, 4 seeds in the baseball tournament are the equivalent of 13 through 16 seeds in the basketball tournament. So there are ways to do this. How many steps they take at this point, I'm not sure, but we'll see. But that's something good. Also, it's been announced that the committee that chooses this and the baseball committee that oversees the entire sport will be cut by roughly 1/3. There will be an official voice for coaches on the committee, and that committee will have both some oversight and selection responsibility. So you might have seen in the last couple of weeks, they're doing what they can to cut back on some of the NCAA committee assignments and just the overall bloat, my word, of the committee. Now they're going to have about 1/3 fewer doing baseball and making some more decisions. So some news out of baseball today. And again, don't stop at 1 through 32. Maybe this year, see how it works, then go for it from there. But I'd seed the entire tournament. But there's some news for you out of college baseball. PGA Tour news. Tiger Woods today tweeting that he will become chairman of the Future Competition Committee for the PGA. So Tiger's role morphing from player to leader. The new chairman of the PGA Tour is Brian Rolapp. He comes to the PGA from the NFL. Tiger said, honored to serve as chairman of the Future Competition Committee. This is about shaping the next era of the PGA Tour for fans, players, and partners. Tiger basically will be joined, by Patrick Cantlay, Adam Scott, Camilo Villegas, Maverick McNeely, and Keith Mitchell as players on the committee. The former chairman of Valero Energy will be on there, Joe Gorder, and Fenway Sports Group principal owner John Henry. They own the Boston Red Sox, and Liverpool will be with them, as well as Theo Epstein, the former GM of the Red Sox and the Cubs, who led them both to world championships. He will be a senior advisor on this committee. So don't know what this means for Tiger's playing days, but Tiger is now the chairman of the Future Competition Committee. This, to me, feels like some sort of direct answer to the how do I put this, Terry? A direct answer to the stonewalling of the potential remerger of Live Golf with the PGA. For those who don't follow that story that much, they met earlier this year again. They came to no agreement, and really since then, and they met at the White House. Mm-hmm. Since then, they have not met.
Right.
The Live Tour and the Saudi PIF basically just made way too many demands for running the PGA Tour, and they were
just
like
trying to take over.
Yeah, and they're like, you're not going to do that. Sorry, like that. These are non-starters, and I think y'all knew that in advance. That's me paraphrasing, and that's why they haven't met since.
Well, remember, they think that they just get what they want with their money.
Yeah,
And
if we're giving you the money, we want, and the
here's
PGA
our
is
list
like
of demands.
Yeah, like
Right.
you can sponsor us and you can be a partner, but you're not going to run the show. You're not running the PGA Tour.
And they're looking at it like, well, if you want our money real bad, here's our demands.
Yeah, well, and so that's why this is happening. And I
Mm-hmm.
think you get somebody like John Henry, who's a billionaire. You get the chairman of Valero, who's a billionaire,
Mm-hmm.
and they're bringing in. Listen, I've seen firsthand what they're doing just at the Heritage, and you and I were talking about what they did at that BMW Championship up in Baltimore last weekend. I mean, BMW's putting a lot of. I mean, there's Boeing, RBC, Mercedes. They're putting a lot more money into the PGA Tour, and they're getting something out of it. By the way, I saw today, and this isn't me taking shots. I made no secret of the fact that I think the Live Tour is crap. Do you want to guess real quick? This is average. This isn't like on a certain day when one big tournament was being played. I want you to just guess the multiple number of an average PGA audience over a Live audience. Like, how many times bigger
4 times bigger.
is the average PGA?
I'm going to go 4 or 5 times bigger.
Okay, 4 or 5. I thought it would be about 6 or 8. I did this specific math.
With your phone?
This is the average. This is an average Sunday broadcast.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. Go ahead.
17.7 times larger.
Well, see, I knew that. I mean, the Live is on what, Discovery Channel?
It's on FS1 and FS2.
Yeah, but they still. I mean, when
No,
you
I get it, and sometimes it's on Fox. But again, that's just the average.
Right. You put a PGA Tour event on a major network or ESPN with that kind of viewer penetration compared to FS1, FS2.
When I looked it up, I
not
thought
even
I was
close.
thinking 6 or 8.
I was thinking 4 or 5,
Yeah,
to be honest.
and that would be tremendous.
A lot. Right.
It's 17.7 times larger.
Yeah. Look, the reason this thing is still a thing is because the Saudis are just. I mean, they've got more money than most countries or most worlds.
Yes.
And they're just going to keep dumping money in this thing because they have an agenda. And to me, their agenda is to take over the PGA Tour.
Well, I think this is a big step towards saying that's not going to happen.
When this first started, you and I were doing the halftime show. I said, you know what? This is where the PGA's got to get their head out of their backside.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, I'm hoping this is a come to Jesus for the PGA Tour. And I think it has been. Look at what they brought in new leadership. The purses have gotten bigger. The treatment of players has gotten better. They're listening more to the guys on the tour. I think at the end of the day, the PGA Tour, to their credit, because they didn't deserve credit for a long time over things, I think they've taken a step back and said, you know what? We got to do some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they have.
Not only do they need to, they've done it, and they've worked with the sponsors. They've brought the money in. The purses are much bigger than a lot of these stops.
And that was the thing you really had to do over everything else, was you had to make the purses bigger.
Yeah.
You just really had to.
So there you go. But Tiger, again, what this means for Tiger's playing days, I'm not so sure. Tiger turns 40, does he turn 50 this year?
He's getting close, man. He's getting close.
He might be 50.
By the way, real quick, Tiger, 2 pieces of Tiger history today. He beat Bob May today in that playoff.
All right.
And 2, he won his 12th major on this day.
Wow. Nice.
Both are PGA
I think Tiger might turn 50 this year.
Maybe. Have to look that up real fast.
I'll look that up.
Look that up, man. That's why we got phones and computers and stuff.
Finally, the Atlanta Braves down 10-4 last night. 10-4 last night. Came all the way back and beat the Chicago White Sox by a final of 11-10. And a Michael Harris, web gem to end the ball game last night. You see that? You see that catch?
Sweet.
Dude.
Hey, look, for all of Michael Harris's struggles at the plate, he didn't take him in the field with him. That dude can pick it.
He can pick it, but that was a heck of a catch to end the ball game last night.
How about that comeback? I mean, Olsen had 4 knocks. Albies had 3 hits.
Hey, the Braves are 12 games under.
What's their magic number for the playoffs? 417?
All of them. That's what it is, man. All of them. Playoffs not so much, but hey, look, just finish third, and again, avoid losing 100 games, which I think they're going to do. I think they're playing good ball, man. They've won 7 of 10. That's our integrated media headlines of the day. Today's start bench drop has been a fun one. Keep hitting us up. Your football stadium experience start bench drop. 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass. rank them for us. We'll keep getting into those. And we've got brand new sound, as I mentioned, from Coach Mike Shula. We'll get that for you on the other side as part of the Gamecock Notebook. That's next. All right, Integrated Media, not only do they sponsor our headlines every day, they've been sponsoring us for a while here. They're just great partners. They're great friends. I love these guys. I love what they've done for me. And I often am asked, quite seriously sometimes, Jay, do you really mean all the things you say about Integrated Media at your house? And I cannot stress to anyone that asks me that how serious I am about how life-changing their services are. It's fantastic. You know, if we want to blast a bunch of Rolling Stones through the entire house or whatever, we get it done. You want to watch a big game? You know, we've had people over for the big game in the past. Every room can have it on. It's fantastic. We have an outdoor system and really as big as anything else, Wi-Fi that works everywhere, commercial grade Wi-Fi built for the home. They do it all and so much more at Integrated Media. Get them into your house. See what they can do to change your life. 803-948-8327. Football and so much more is better with Integrated Media. All right, welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on Wednesday. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. Thanks to our tremendous colleague, Tyler Head, for carving up some sound for us. And that's ready to go here. Again, Mike Shula and Clayton White speaking to the media today. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the headlines. Terry, let me get back to it here because hang on, my iPad is not cooperating. Here we go. Do you have cut number 8 on the new list? Cut number 8, this is Mike Shula on what they're trying to do in terms of maybe honing the skills of Lenoris Sellers and turning him into more of a pocket passer.
Well, Jay, right now that's downloading. I can tell you right now we have cut number 3 and cut number 1, and we can hear about the running backs in cut number 3 if you'd like to.
We have cut number 1?
Yes.
Okay, well then if we have cut number 1, do you want me to shift gears and come back around?
Because cut number 1 will be fun anyway.
Okay. For those of you who missed it yesterday, Lenoris Sellers went first, and he talked about how when the quarterbacks do bad things, Mike Shula has fake dog poop that he keeps on his desk, and he makes them go get it. Like they'll be in the quarterback room, but they have to go to his office and get the fake dog poop. Like he says, because you just took a dump on my desk. And then Shane was asked about it, and Shane said he didn't know what it was until very recently, and it was when they had some guests in the room. Not like people that you would offend too much, but
and the person who let this all out was Lenoris. Yes.
And so, all right, so here's Mike explaining how this came about.
That's the first question, huh? A long time ago, actually, there's a really good friend of mine, a line coach, had won 2 Super Bowls and at least 1 national championship. He would always use that phrase when kind of players weren't doing kind of what they've been asked to do. It's kind of like, right on your desk or whatever. So I thought that was kind of funny and kind of carried that with me. Got to the Giants, and I said it, I think I said it in that room right there, and sure enough, the next day there was that object right on my desk. Eli, man, you can thank Eli for that. Eli bought it. So, and then from there, I think it got to the Bills. The guys and I was in an office with the pro personnel staff of the Bills, who are the coolest pro personnel guys in the whole NFL. So they actually texted me when they heard it yesterday. But so Eli took it and ran with it.
Why are we not at all surprised that it's Eli Manning, right? That of all the people, that it's Eli Manning. Eli probably even went to some really fun joke shop in the city, and then brought that back to the Giants facility. But there you go. So
you can get that fake stuff. We got at a radio station once to play jokes on people back in the younger version of me days.
How long ago was that?
Yesterday. No, I was a young lad in my 20s doing music radio in central Pennsylvania. They frown upon that here, Jay. They would.
Well,
I think.
The thing is, it's for the most part, it's an audible medium, so nobody can see it. But
I mean, in the office, they would.
Oh
frown
yeah,
upon
no, I
that.
get it. I get it. I'm just saying,
I'm
nobody
in a
would
position
see
now.
it.
Probably not a good idea for me to do that.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It'll be fine. All right, what you want me to go to cut 3 next?
Yeah, I've almost got cut 8 ready.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Our computer has decided to be a computer today, and it happens.
You
from
can do
time to
cut
time.
3.
All right, well, cut 3 then. The run game is certainly going to be a big one, but how about opening up the holes and giving them more opportunity? Mike Shula on how his offensive line is coming along.
Yeah, I think it reminds me a little bit of last year. I hate to kind of compare because, you just kind of can take off with it, but that part of the group that's kind of, they were kind of new in the spring, and then trying to pick up as fast as we could in fall practice. The work together, I think they're communicating much better. They've got a higher comfort level of the calls being made. Every position on the field, you've got to think really, really quick. And yes, when we draw it up on the board, it's easy to kind of go over it and say, yes, I got it. But all of a sudden, the defensive line moves right in front of you, and you got to make a call. And it starts with our center. Every offensive line starts with the communication from the center, and that communication's got to be passed on quickly. So they're doing a better job with that. We're all striving for more consistency.
look. Any individual can feel the way they do. Mike Yuva was with Terry and me earlier today, and he's kind of where I am when it comes to this offensive line and some others. And I know when we last had John Whittle on the program, he felt the same way. It's right for any football fan at virtually any level to always have concern about your offensive line. But I think this offensive line is good. I think it's deep. I think it's got experience. I think a transfer in, especially a guy like Boaz Stanley, who, again, when you can find the measurable stats that the PFF types have put on Boaz, he was phenomenal.
When they moved him to center.
Yeah.
When he went to center,
phenomenal.
he changed his career going to center.
Last year, no penalties, like just a couple of sacks allowed and over 400 snaps. I mean, it's and again, I think Tree Babalade, I think Travon Ball, they've bided their time. Casey Henry started every game. Josiah Thompson is a stud. I could go on and on with some others. I mean, Marquis Anderson, again, he just needs to stay healthy. God bless him. And he's a really good player. They've got depth and experience, man. I'm not as there's always concern, but I am not looking at that and going, oh, yeah, I don't know about that offensive line.
Well, I am. I be honestly, even last year, they were better than 2 years ago when it was, because of those injuries, it was terrible. Let's just call it what it was. God loves Spencer Rattler. How much weight did Spencer Rattler lose running for his life? Last year, even though Lenoris did magical things to avoid sacks and negative plays, there were some struggles. I mean, they got better as the year went on, but I remember that A&M game where they were getting whooped, and Lenoris Sellers somehow was okey-doke in every pass rusher and made plays. I guess I look at it this way. Last year, it was inconsistency. They got to get more consistent. I mean, guys look, I think Boaz Stanley's going to be good. I think Josiah Thompson's going to take a huge leap in year two like Caden Proctor did at Bama. But I'll be honest, I mean, Tree and Ball, you've been around 3 years now. You got to step up. Casey Henry concerns me at right tackle. There were games he was just flat out beat over and over again. Now, can Tree beat out Casey Henry at right tackle? Word is that could happen. I mean, the two transfer portal guys that came in, Nick Sharp was really good at Wake.
Yeah.
And does he win the job? I don't know. Are the pieces there for a good offensive line, Jay? Yes. The pieces are there for a very good offensive line. They just have to show me they can do it, because for this will be my fourth year of Gamecock football, I have not seen a consistently good offensive line in my time.
No, I don't disagree with that. I think consistency is an interesting word to use as well. Again, you go back to the injuries,
wipe them out.
What the heck,
Wiped them
man?
out.
Like, I've never seen anything like that.
It was terrible.
Last year, you went from having what do we say? In 23, was it like the first 9 games had a different starting lineup on offensive line?
They
and then
were
last year,
solid last year.
Yeah,
like
and then
that.
last year I think they went like 9 or 10.
Up until Josiah Thompson missed a game with an injury.
So that alone is a big step forward. And it's not. I mean, you want them to be a cohesive starting 5, if you will, but you're going to need your backups certainly. So. Based on last year and the track record of development, again, with the caveat of staying healthy, I like the steps they've taken. I like the pieces they've added. And I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, this is the best offensive line in the SEC, because it's not.
Mm.
It's not. All right. That's at either Bama or Georgia or Texas. But I do think it's going to be better, and I just don't have the levels of concern about it that I might typically have for an offense.
If they can be consistently solid, because you got a quarterback that's going to make you look good.
Yep.
So if you can just be consistently solid, that's what you need. You don't need Joe Moore awards. It'd be great if you get it.
Sure.
But what you need is just consistency in being a solid offensive line and a cohesive unit, to where, Lenoris is going to move. My thing is for the run game.
Right.
You need to be able to open holes for the run game.
Well, on that note, and we'll come back, we do have it. The computer decided that it was ready. It was ready to cooperate fully. So we'll come back, and as part of the drive around the SEC, we'll stay with these Mike Shula comments, and I will get you to the point Terry just made there. What are they trying to do to make Lenoris not more one-dimensional per se, but more traditional? We'll get into that for you when the postgame show returns.
We talk about the Nest a ton because really there's not a better place in this region if you want to do things to the home than the Nest. If you're looking to replace all the appliances, maybe do some great things to the bathroom, new plumbing, fixtures, lighting, the Nest is the call to make. 803-978-2025. 70 years of experience. You want experienced folks working on your biggest investment, which is your home. Make that call. 803-978-2025. They will hold your hand through the whole thing. Nikki Graham, the crew is phenomenal over at the Nest. They'll bring you in. You talk about what your goals are, what your dreams are for your home, your budget. The showroom is ridiculous. You'll walk around, so many different options and choices, so many different styles. You pick out what works for you. They'll sit down and they'll make it happen for you from beginning to end. Call the Nest, 803-978-2025 in the Vista. Now the Kreger showrooms, by the way, at the Nest. All right, a couple accidents on Calks Ferry Road. One is near Old Charleston Road, the other at Nazareth Road. So I want to stay away from Calks Ferry Road. Gadsden Street near Lady, also an accident. I-20 westbound at Monticello Road, that's exit 68. Peach Festival Road at Warner Road and US 1. Beltline Boulevard at Highway 48 Bluff Road. Shop Road between Pineview Drive and Atlas Road. Pop back in here. A drive around the SEC is next on the postgame show with Jay and Terry.
It is Drive Around the SEC time here on this Wednesday. Jay and Terry with you. Welcome back in. Before we get back into some Gamecocks, let's get you caught up on what's going on around the conference. We're going to talk Gamecock quarterbacks in a minute, at least Lenoris. But first, Heather Dinich reporting that Eli Drinkwitz today is set to pit Bo Prabula against Sam Horn for Missouri's #1 quarterback job. They'll do this when they play Central Arkansas tomorrow. Is that right? They play tomorrow? Or is it next week? This says Thursday.
Next week?
It says season opener against Central Arkansas on Thursday. Should I double check that?
I'm going to double check it.
I got it. Hang on.
You got it?
Yeah, I got Missouri's schedule pulled up here. Yeah, okay, it's next week.
Yeah.
Don't do that to me, Heather.
Stop that, Heather.
Because she did. She put it in there Thursday. I was like, today's Wednesday. Regardless, Eli said, quote, I informed the team this afternoon that both quarterbacks will play in the first game. I want to see them in a game day situation to make a final determination. Prabula, of course, transferred from Penn State. He was solid last year. He did get to play a little bit. 26 of 35, 275 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. But the only time he threw at least 10 passes in a game was against Wisconsin.
Yeah, he came in and kind of like a change-up guy, run the ball.
He ran the ball. He contributed, 242 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, averaged 6.4 per carry. Sam Horn missed last year with an injury. He's only played 4 times. He's just 3 of 8 for 54 yards. But he was a 4-star Mississippi, and he was good with the New Orleans Saints. Just the New Orleans Saints were
terrible,
wretchedly awful.
Or like the word to Charles Barkley, terrible.
Terrible. But young Arch, has said in terms of his grandfather's prediction that he would be back at UT next year as well. Quote, I don't know where he got that from. He texted me to apologize about that. I'm really just taking it day by day right now. I thought that the thing that I said was, Archie said, I thought the thing that I said was that to name Arch to postseason awards and start placing him in the NFL draft was ridiculous when he hadn't played. But then the fact I said he might be at Texas was just an assumption on my part. Arch and I have a really good grandson-grandfather relationship, but I haven't been part of this football journey.
Well,
listen, he should be part of the football journey.
Yep.
I personally believe that Archie did a fantastic job with his boys. You tell me, Terry.
I think it turned out okay.
You didn't raise not 1, but 2, the first pick in the NFL draft,
and 1 started the entire poop gate.
So
in Eli,
that's right.
But, I mean, honest, in all seriousness, Archie, I think knows what's up, and 2, Archie's not wrong.
No.
Arch really needs a second year.
Yeah,
he really does. If you look at the stats and numbers of guys who are taken in the NFL draft in the first round and only started for 1 year, it's not a great track record. And it's just not.
If I may, and this is just me, look, the Mannings, they don't need advice from any of us. But I think there's going to be an even more intense amount of pressure on Arch in college and in the NFL. And to be able to just be that comfortable, if you will, comfortable is probably not the right word, but y'all know what I mean here. Like that leader who's been doing it and then get into the next level is probably just so much better for him, to have an off season like where you've played all year and you go into another year knowing you have the same kind of routines and stuff like that. But I don't think it's I think, look, people these days want to just find ways to take shots at wherever they can. Archie was just being honest. Yeah. And again, Archie, if you want to say, hey, you think Archie Manning is an expert at developing quarterbacks? Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I think he knows what's up. And honestly, he's not wrong.
No.
He really isn't wrong. Now, even if Arch Manning won the Heisman Trophy this year and was phenomenal, he should come back for another year. Now, will he? That's another conversation.
Yeah, that's another conversation. And at that point, because again, look, even if the Mannings don't need the money, if you will, the money is phenomenal.
And the injury factor of coming back. Look, you and I had this conversation about Anthony Richardson. You and I, we were doing that great riff on the phone today. That was epic. Right. If you know you're going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, the money you're going to make in millions.
Yes.
It's tough to say, no, I need a little bit more seasoning.
When it's a solid 8 figures that you're going to make, and I've seen some people, and that's one of the things we were talking about, is like, well, I would have stayed in college. No, you wouldn't.
I know I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
Hey, you have a chance to make 25, 30 million plus, virtually guaranteed to get that, because that's why he left. They were telling him, son, you're going to be a top 10 pick.
Yes, that's why he left. Exactly.
You know,
he knew.
Yeah, he knew he was going to be a top 10 pick, and he ended up being a top 5 pick. But if or you could come back and there is no guarantee for what happens next year. You can sit there as some kind of fan and go, well, I would have stayed.
Well, you can
I
say
don't.
that
You can say it when it's not you.
Piles millions of dollars on a table in front of you.
Yeah. So I don't blame Richardson. And again, even if the Mannings don't quote need the money, if Arch Manning is a potential top 5 pick in the draft,
it's hard to walk away from. Just saying.
So anyway, we'll see. All right, there you go. Back to Carolina. All right, cut number 8. Finally, Terry Ford. Mike Shula speaking today, and as we said, we know Lenoris got so much better in the second half last season. To start the first games, 4 picks, 4 touchdowns. Second half of the season, 14 touchdowns, only 3 picks. He got better as a passer, and we know what he can do with his legs. Mike was asked today, do you want him to be more of a pocket guy?
I wouldn't use the words reel him in. That part of it maybe is a little bit inaccurate. I would say, hey, we want you to run it, but when you're back there throwing it and it's a design pass and there's guys open, okay, see it, anticipate it, trust it, and throw it. And then if it's not, okay, then you go run. Whereas maybe last year, at times, now he was really good last. Don't get me wrong. Maybe there was a couple guys open that he could have thrown to, and he just took off. So. You want to have he's going to go play. He's going to go play fast, and he's going to be, we're going to do a lot of things with him, hopefully because of that, he's going to be very hard to defend if he's making good decisions. It's all about making good decisions, and then letting his decisions that keep him and our offense on the field, and then all that his athletic ability, whether or not it's running or throwing it, will help move the ball and hopefully get the ball in the end zone.
We've talked about it a bunch. I promise you we'll talk about it more, but you can really kind of make it a microcosm moment, that 3rd and long at Clemson where he scored the touchdown to win the game. But you see it, I remember watching back, later that day, Terry, and then on Sunday, and then finally seeing some of the All-22. And you can just, I remember we talked to Shane about it, a couple days after the ball game. You see Lenoris going through those progressions to Mike's point. And, in that game, on that play, if you will, Clemson Clemson had it bottled up.
Yeah.
I mean, they had those guys covered. And Lenoris just made the defenders that were on him miss.
Well, remember, there was a spy.
Yeah.
He made the spy miss.
Yeah, and just,
and then he made about 34 other guys miss, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown.
So, I think Mike's right, but I think we saw a lot of that from Lenoris. And look, the game slowing down and all that kind of stuff, like everybody knows what that means. And I think the stats and the wins bear out, how much the game changed for Lenoris after the Mississippi debacle. And again, he got so much better in the loss at Alabama. And I know he wants that fumble back. He wants that 2-point try back because you're not going to get perfect. He was a freshman.
Right.
I still think that's sometimes lost on people that, he was a redshirt freshman last year. But from the Alabama game forward, he got so much better. And you mentioned the A&M game, the Missouri game, the Clemson game. Those were some big wins for South Carolina.
And the thing is, too, like the Missouri game, that was his arm.
Yeah.
He threw South Carolina back into that game.
Because Missouri wasn't going to let him. I think Eli did a pick your poison. Hey, we can't let him beat us on the ground. And he made the plays with his arm. And he can do both. And I think, to Mike's credit and point, there's an opportunity there for some significant growth. That's our drive around the SEC, brought to you by Herndon Chevy. Stop by the showroom and see why Herndon makes you smile. We'll come back with some more Start Bench Drop. We got a lot of you that hit us. So if you haven't weighed in today and you want to, got a few minutes left on Twitter, at my Twitter feed, at jphillips1075. Stadium Experience, Start Bench Drop. 50-yard line seats, luxury suite, sideline pass. We'll give you some more. And a lot of you have weighed in on your why, too, which we appreciate. Terry and I will give you ours, too. You're listening to the Postgame Show.
quick check on the traffic. We have accidents. Gadsden Street near Lady Street, I-20 westbound at Monticello Road, exit 68. South Beltline Boulevard at Highway 48 Bluff Road. Shop Road between Pineview Drive and Atlas Road as well.
Eleven minutes in front of 6 o'clock here on a Wednesday. Final few minutes of the postgame show. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford with you. Start bench drop today has been very active. Thank you all. Terry's got some on the Firehouse Subs text line that we're going to get to as well. I got one guy here that tells me, let me see. Hang on. Let me get back to this. Because I think he was confused about how to do this. He's like, all right, now I learned how to play. So he put start, sideline, bench, 50-yard line seats, drop the suite. And then he also has that jail in the end zone with its own magistrate. I know they had one of those in Philly. Deuce used to tell me about that one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many other places have it. And this guy says, it's Ray. He says, I've been every place but two of them. So I don't know which two.
That's hilarious.
Don't know which two. Our buddy John says start the 50-yard line seats, bench the sideline pass, drop the luxury suite. He says, I go to games to be part of the game and the atmosphere. Luxury suites have too much of a country club feel to them. Okay. They are nice, though.
Yes, they are. I do agree with that.
Let's see. Ryan says start the sideline pass, bench the 50-yard line seats, drop the luxury suite. This guy just says student section. Hey, you know what, man? I had a blast in the student section.
Yeah.
I did. I when I was a student.
Section's fun, man.
When I was a student, but I will also tell you, when it was time to move on from the student section, I was happy to move on from the student section.
You know, it's sort of like going to the beach. Here it was Myrtle. Where I grew up, it was Ocean City.
Right.
When you're senior in high school, college age, you want to go hang at the rowdiest places at the beach,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, sure.
As you get older, where do you want to go?
You only have so much of that in you.
Yes. And it's time to move on
And
to the
yeah.
chiller, more mellower. You're still giving it for the team and screaming, yelling, but you're not in the student section because you know what? At some point you got to move on.
And again, we mentioned earlier that every once in a while, like that guy's in trouble, and not like with the cops, like with everything that he had that day just landed on somebody else.
When you're older, you don't want to be like stepping over people's puke.
No.
You just don't.
Not that happens every time.
Just occasionally.
But it
does happen.
It does happen.
It does happen. It's a thing.
Jeffrey says start the sideline pass, bench the suite, drop the 50-yard line seats unless they are at the end of the row. They want an aisle seat. Okay. That's fair. Lee wants to start the suite, bench the 50-yard liners, drop the sidelines. And I got one more here from Eric. Says start the luxury suite, free food and climate control. Well, it ain't free, bro.
No, it ain't free.
Unless you got invited.
Right, which is the best way to go to the suite, right? When it's not your suite, you paid for it, someone invites you.
Bench the sideline. He says intimate. Yes, in the sense that it is close to the field, it is intimate. But otherwise, there's a lot of people down there. Drop 50-yard lines. He says never know if you're going to get stuck with half a seat. At Williams-Brice, yes, in a bleacher. But again, this could be any stadium. So it could be, an NFL ballpark that has an actual seat. But anyway, all right, we got a few on the Firehouse Subs text line.
I got two that are classic.
Okay,
this one here, start sideline, bench 50-yard line, totally toss suite. Don't even like the suites at CLA. Okay. Now we've got a couple of creative folks.
All right. I like creativity.
Ready?
Yep.
Start the suite with AC and only oatmeal cookies.
Good from yesterday. Thank you for listening.
Bench the 50-yard line and cut the sideline.
Okay. There you go.
The next one. No, I got another one.
Oh, got one more.
This is really good. Start the luxury suite and make sure it's filled with chocolate chip cookies and no other cookies because there is no other cookie.
Okay.
Bench the 50-yard line seats as long as I'm not surrounded by too many drunk people. Drop the sideline pass. Don't want to get run over by a big dude. Right, Brad Muller.
Nice. Brad Muller thinking. That's good.
Thank you, Brad Muller, sir.
I will start the 50-yard line seats. I've said I like being in it when I'm at a football stadium. I'll bench the suite because, I'm a little older and they're quite comfortable. And the posh doesn't do it for me, but the comfort does. And having been on the sideline for a game, listen, for one thing, I can't always see the game. I can feel the game, but I can't see the game as much.
Sure.
Even though I'm 5'10", I can't. Most of those dudes are not 5'10". So I'm gonna drop the sideline.
I love the vibe of the sideline. It's
like
so close. The speed of the game. You get to see how violent it is. I love the sideline, so I would start the sideline. The younger version of me would bench the 50-yard line. I like the comfort of the suite in my own bathroom without sharing with 2,000 people. So I'm going to bench the suite and unfortunately go drop the 50
Drop the 50. That's fine. Hey.
That's me.
This was a fun one, though.
It was.
All right, real quick. We got to do this.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Game versus the internet. Kansas City, will they make it 5 in a row at home versus Texas tonight?
Sure, why not? Yes.
Yankees, 9 homers last night against Tampa Bay.
Second time.
Yankees second in road homers in the majors, but Tampa Bay fifth in least home runs allowed. Over/under on Yankee homers, 2.5.
Over.
And finally, your Braves. You got your rookie starting tonight.
Waldrop.
A lot of runs being scored. Over/under in runs tonight, 7.5 between Atlanta and Chicago. It's been a slugfest. Combined 7.5. Over/under. Going over.
Over.
You did it, my man.
All
Good
right.
work.
Good stuff. Thanks to Mike Ewan for joining us. Fun today. Thank you for participating in Start Bench Drop. We'll do it all again tomorrow. For Terry, I'm Jay. See ya.
Our final check on the roads this afternoon. Accidents, I-20 westbound Monticello Road, exit 68, South Beltline Boulevard, Highway 48, Bluff Road, Gadsden Street near Lady Street as well, Shop Road between Pineview Drive and Atlas Road. Then we have our construction issues, like always, I-126 between Hugie and I-26, I-26 Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road between those exits, and I-20 between I-26 exit 64 and Broad River Road exit 65. Best of the game coming up next here on The Game.